Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, boy. Oh, yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Come back in here, boy. Okay. Okay, just things on my mind. I can tell I'm losing facial volume where my mouth is. I'm losing facial volume. With losing your teeth and your mouth gets sunk in, you start to lose facial volume. See what this? You start losing facial volume after you lose teeth. Hmm. 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 Goodbye. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. What I had on my mind. I was thinking about, the idea of in the future living in an RV and living in a rig and stuff like that. Living in an RV and stuff like that. And it's good, if I ever had to live in an RV. But also, hey there, Mike Jordan, good to see you. Also, what I wanted to say is living with my mom, I've gained the ability to do projects. Learn how to do wood, use power tools, do light body work on the vehicles, and I can learn to do more work on the vehicles. Hey, Seal Hater, how you doing? I guess I've enjoyed living with my mom and being able to have a garage where I can do projects, work with wood, learn how to do handy projects. If I get a classic car, a classic pickup truck, and fix up an old vehicle or restore an old vehicle, if I had a truck with a camper, I'd like to have an older truck camper rig that's like a 70s truck. Maybe even a 60s or 70s camper. But I'm looking for a job, and maybe if I ever got on disability for some reason, if I ever had disability, it would be because of anxiety or something like that. PTSD or anxiety, something like that. Maybe even back problems. But but I like having money, and projects are good to do. And I guess living with my mom has been good because I get to learn to do projects. I like to do projects, and I've worked most of the time. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I have worked most of the time. I've went periods of time without working. I went periods of time without working, but I have worked most of the time. I have worked most of the time. Yeah, I hope you do, Mike Jordan. You do get on disability. I hope it works out for you. And it's good to be on disability if you can be, but I also like I've liked being with my mom, and I've liked learning to do projects. Unless I would have lived on somewhere else on my own by myself, people that live in apartments, it's good for people to live in apartments if they need to live in apartments. But, people who live in apartments never learn to do anything. People that live in apartments, they sit on the couch and they play video games and watch TV. That's what you do in an apartment. What is there to learn to do? There's small things you get to learn in an apartment, like sewing and craft work and stuff like that, and playing the guitar and playing music. You can learn to play music and play the guitar living in an apartment. I like to learn to play the guitar. I like learning the guitar. My uncle is a good guitarist. My uncle has played my mom's brother has played in bands since the 70s, and their band is open for a famous band a couple of times. And he's given me a few pointers and helped me out, told me a few things, to help me with the guitar. But it's good to be able to learn to play guitar, and you can do that in an apartment. But living in an apartment, I want to do something that's rewarding as a project. I want to be able to buy something old and fix it up, like a car, a truck, or something. And I've always been attracted to old cars, you know? I mean, there's a video, here's a channel, this and that garage. The guy pulls out, I've always admired people that can pull vehicles out of the woods, fix them up, you know? But I may not ever be able to do that. I'm not a real mechanic, but, you know, I did my first, you know, I put a thermostat on the pickup, you know? I put a thermostat on the truck. That was a pretty cool thing to do. Why is everybody leaving, you see? I can't hold people. I work, but life without harder right now. Life without harder. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I imagine it's harder. You know, you're having being able to be on disability may, you know, can help a person if a person gets hurt, you know, or needs it. But what I'm saying is whether you work, a person works for it, gets on disability. Hey, Tasha. Yay, Tasha, yay. I'm glad you got your phone. I got your government phone. And Tasha, right now, you still have your garage. Your storage unit, your garage, that's a good thing. You know, it gives you an outlet. That storage unit gives you, Tasha, that storage unit gives you the ability to do projects, work on stuff, you know. And I don't think you know, even if, you know, when you get an apartment and get in a government housing, you know, get a nice apartment to live in, you know, people can live in apartments all monitored. Yeah. We say watch what people do. A person can live in an apartment, but you can still have a buddy's house that you can work on your projects. You know, you can have a buddy's house to work on your projects that has a garage or a place to do stuff. A house, awesome, that's good. Yeah, I mean it's great. You know, I've appreciate. I just want to think about it. I appreciate being able to live with my mom. I appreciate being able to live with my mom because, you know, this house has a garage, and you know, living here with my mom has given me the ability to do a lot of projects that I've enjoyed over the years. Hey there, P2E. How you doing? I like the idea of prepping, being self-sufficient. Something Rosie O'Kelly said. She said she didn't really believe in contributing to landfills. Because, you know, I believe in capitalism. I'm a capitalist. You know, I'm an American too. I love America. I believe in America. I believe in capitalism because it's the American way. I love American capitalism because it's the American way. But I also don't always believe in consumerism. You know, I don't always believe in consumerism. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Tasha. That sucks. I know it does. Losing a little volume in here. And I think people need an outlet. I'm just saying, I appreciate being able to live with my mom and I want to give back, you know? I want to give back. I want to be able to I want to be able to, you know, want to help mom fix this house up, you know? The point is, I've appreciated being able to be here and to learn to do things. You know, my granddad, my mom's dad taught me how to do things, you know. He had a house and I helped my granddad when he fixed up his house and worked on his house and did handyman projects around the house, you know. And so, you know, Tasha, you got your storage unit. That's a good thing, you know, that you can go to that storage unit. Even whether you have a storage unit or a house, either one. Even if someone else did live in an apartment, even if someone did live in an apartment, they could have a buddy's house or they could have a storage unit like that, a garage somewhere, where they could work on their projects, you know. A place to get out, you know, to do stuff, you know, to fix stuff, to do projects, you know. You know, it's good to be able to do things, you know, yourself. It's good for people to be self-sufficient, you know. It's good for people to be self-sufficient and know how to do things themselves. It makes a person feel good to be able to learn to do things themselves. Yeah, it's bad they stole it from you. Fact is, yeah, we all need some kind of outlet, you know. To me, it's like a creative outlet, a way to be creative. Okay, I'm going to play this song. This is the song that I'm practicing. But I just don't, it would be hard. And that's the only bad thing about living in an RV, you know? That's the only thing about van life that makes van life. Tasha, like you said, van life sucks. And part of the reason van life sucks, it's like a tiny apartment, you know? Living in a van or in a camper is like living in a tiny apartment. You ain't got no way to do projects. You ain't got no way to have no projects or fix anything. You can't fix your van. You can't fix your camper. If your truck or your camper needs or your van needs to be painted, how are you going to paint your van? How are you going to paint your camper? How are you going to modify it? Well, yeah, well, the point is it's just homelessness, but you know, but also I mean, it's like in living in this tiny space, you really don't get to do anything. And I ask myself that living and being out in the camper and spending time in the camper, I mean, what am I going to do living in a camper? I'm going to sit in there like a person who lives in an apartment and sit and watch TV all day. I mean, I got to get out and do projects. I have to work on my truck. I have to modify it. I have to modify my truck. I have so many ideas. I'd like to maybe take the truck and turn it into a dually, do a dually conversion, work, get money and either working or disability, and get the money and fix it up and do stuff to it, or get a 70s Chevy truck. I'd like to have a 70s truck, but you know, you've got to have things to do, you know? With some people, if you can't do things, I understand. It's okay. Tom, get your plane right on time. I know your part will be fine. I'm just saying, I like living here at the house. Yeah. I like living at the house, you know? Stifle living at the best. You got to be able to do things. You got to have projects. You got to have passions. You got to have things you want to do. I've got to have more than just sitting and watching TV in the camper and going and walking around in parks, you know. I mean, I like going to parks. I like going to city streets and walking around on city streets. There's nothing wrong with any. It's all good. But some of my best times are just spent in the garage doing a project, you know. Yeah, I mean, Tasha, you enjoyed working in the garage all day. You enjoyed it. You see, there's some, is if you have a garage to work in, you can't do that living in an RV. If you completely sever ties with home, you know, you live in that camper, you're going to be sitting in that thing all day, and you're not going to be happy just sitting in that camper all day long. It's like living, you know, you got to have a way to do stuff, you know, and you may not be able to do stuff, but it's, you know, it's understandable if you can't do stuff, but do stuff while you're able, you know. Yeah, P2E, and I'm sure you, yeah, regular life does suck sometimes, Ronnie Braun. Ronnie Braun, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I hate criminals and corruption too. And there's so many criminals on the streets, walking the streets. Boondocking out on the streets is dangerous because there's so many. Oh, Ford trucks are easy reveal, seal hater. That's good. Sounds like a good one. I'd like to have a camper special, you know? A camper special from the early 70s and mid 70s Ford. Oh, are they easier than the Chevrolet seal hater? Are they easier than the square body Chevrolet? What do you think? Are they easier or what? Oh, they're easier than a square body. Good. Good. Maybe I'll get a Ford. Maybe I'll, you know, get a Ford truck. It sounds pretty good, you know. I, yeah, Fords are pretty good. But yeah, I mean, you get to do stuff like that, you know. Have a place to be able to do stuff. Have a place to be able to do stuff like that, you know. It means a lot, you know. I realized with the thought of getting rid of everything and not having a way to do anything, P2E, you like to do prepping, and prepping involves having somewhere to do it. I think of prepping, I think of canning things. My grandmother used to have a canner, and my neighbor too, canning vegetables, canning vegetables, whether it's canning beets or beans or, you know, people who can stuff, people who can stuff, people who can stuff, you know, people who can stuff. Oh, 429 police interceptor, Ronnie Brown. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. 1971 police interceptor. That's really cool. I was thinking if I did live in my camper, I had a place to store it, an enclosed cargo trailer. I'm thinking like an enclosed cargo trailer, not a big enclosed cargo trailer, but a small enclosed cargo trailer. A good old inline six. People say those are good motors. The inline sixes are really good. Hey there, Hayner. How are you? But the whole point is an enclosed cargo trailer with a ramp. You can put your tools inside the enclosed cargo trailer. You put your tools in the enclosed cargo trailer, and that enclosed cargo trailer with a ramp, you can open the back end. It's kind of like a little mini garage, and you could have a storage place to park it, your enclosed cargo trailer. And if you lived on the road in an RV and you have to be able to have a garage to work on projects, the best way I could think of having a mobile garage, the space to work here. Yeah, the space to work is valuable, I think. But an enclosed cargo trailer with a ramp in the back, you open up the back end of your enclosed cargo trailer. You have your tools, your air compressor, everything in your enclosed cargo trailer. And it's like a little mobile garage, Pull it behind the truck camper. That's the best way I've come up with to be able to have a mobile workspace. I'm going to do this song. Let's try it. This is called The Only Living Boy in New York by Simon and Garfunkel. Here we go. John, get your plane right on time. I know your part will go fine. Fine down to Mexico. Dun, 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 here I am, the only living boy in New York. I get the news and the need on the weather report. Oh, I gather all the news and need on the weather report. Hey, I got nothing to do today but smile. Dun, 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 here I am, the only living boy in New York. Half of the time we're gone, but we don't know where, we don't know where. Here I am. Half of the time we're gone, but we don't know where, we don't know where. Come on, get your plane right on time. I know you've been eager to fly now. Hey, let your honesty shine now. Dun, 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 like it sounds to me. The only living boy in New York. The only living boy in New York. Oh, yeah. Okay, we did that song. Hey, do Davy Ranch. Oh, thank you, Seal Hater. Pack Rat Steel Shipping Container occupied by Denoy. Okay. Okay. Davy is a man. He's got the master plan. Well, he wanted to meet Tasha and just say, hey. He thought about it and he said, no way. Let's go to the Davy Ranch. Let's go to the Davy Ranch. Go to the Davy Ranch and have some fun, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, he walked up to Davy. His band was sitting there. She said he's over there. He said, I'm tired of this. I want no more. Then she opened up his door and beat the shit out of him. Let's go to the Davy Ranch. Let's go to the Davy Ranch. Let's go to the Davy Ranch and have some fun. Baseball bat in the face, you know it. So everybody else, yeah. So, see, this other song is another song I've been working on. Let's see. At the Zoo. This is called At the Zoo. Simon and Garfunkel. Make sure surgery coming one of these days. Exactly. Okay, the song is called At the Zoo by Simon and Garfunkel. After on their album Bookends, I believe it is. At the zoo. Okay, now let's do this song. At the Zoo, Simon and Garfunkel. Someone told me it's all happening at the zoo. I do believe it's true. It's saying, hey, when time goes down, it's on the east side to the north. Just have time and fancy and go to the zoo. But you can take the custom bus if it's raining or it's cold. And the animals are wild if you do. Someone told me it's all happening at the zoo. I do believe it's and sincere, and the evergreens are kindly but they're gone. Orangutan and skeptical of changes in their cages, and the zookeeper is very fond of them. Zebras, Moriartys, and Marys, antelopes and missionaries, devils, pirates, secrecy, and chances are not frequently. Podcast got to come see at the zoo. 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 That's at the zoo. Now I'm just learning that song. That's At the Zoo by Simon and Garfunkel. At the zoo. I like going to the zoo. I like to see the animals. I Am a Rock, Simon and Garfunkel. Here we go. Ronnie Braun. Yeah, thank you, Seal Hater. We'll go ahead and do this song. Yeah, I'm just learning this song. This is called A Winter's Day and a deep and dark December. I am alone, gazing from my window to the streets below. I'm a freshly floating silent shadows down. I am alone. I am alone. I've been a fortress deep and mighty, the night and penetrate. I have no need of friendship. Friendship causes pain. It's laughter and it's loving at disdain. I am alone. I am alone. Here we go. Let's try that again. A winter's day in a deep and dark December. I am alone, gazing from my window of the streets below. I'm a freshly fallen sun, shroud of snow. I am alone. I am alone. I feel alone. A fortress deep in my teeth. And now I'm I have no need of friendship. Friendship causes pain. It's laughter and it's loving I disdain. I am alone. I am alone. Don't talk alone. I have books and my poetry to protect me. Shielded and hiding in my room, safe within my room. Touch no one or no one touches me. I am alone. I am alone. And alone feels no pain. And there we go. That was a good song. And I ask you, Joni, what happened? Chris Bliss is done with you too? Is he? I don't know. See you later. I look, is he supposed to? Or still living? Yeah, I'm living in a house. I'm living in my mom's house. But I don't know Chris Bliss. He ain't been on in a while. Lately, he was on the side chat somewhere, and he said he was back or something. So maybe tonight he'll come on. I don't know. I want him on, but I don't know for sure if Chris Bliss is on. I don't know why he's done or what it is. But, yeah, I just wanted to say that I actually like doing projects, and I like learning and being able to, to do things. I like doing projects and learning to do stuff, and living in an RV is good, but I like to be able to have something to do. That's the whole part of the point of RVs. RVs are cool, and I've always been fascinated with RVs. I've always been fascinated with them, but the truth is, adventuring is good, but if you put gas in a vehicle and do nothing but drive around, if you do nothing but drive around all the time, there's nothing wrong with it, with driving around all the time. And I'm just saying, you could be saving money by working on projects instead of just driving around all the time spending gas. You could be at home and being able to do stuff for a weekend or a few weeks. That's it. Yeah. You could save so much money by having a fun project at home, doing stuff. Buy a junk truck, car. Get furniture, refinish furniture, learn to play guitar, do something productive that you can learn to do, something you can enjoy being able to do, something. Just find a passion, a passion to be involved with, and do it on your day off or whatever, and you look forward to Saturday, not when you can drive around everywhere, but where you can actually do something that you can learn to do and it's productive to learn to do. Okay, now do y'all remember the Constitution? This song is Schoolhouse Rock, and this song by Schoolhouse Rock is called The Preamble. I don't want to think about that. It's good old preamble. Just try that. Hey, do you know about the USA? Do you know about the government? Can you tell me about the Constitution? Hey, I'm learning about the USA. In 1787, and told our founding fathers did agree to write a list of principles for keeping people free. The USA was just starting out a whole brand new country, and the people started how the country should be. Listen to this, guys. And they put the principles down on paper, and they call it the Constitution. And it's been helping us run our country ever since then. The first part of the Constitution is called the Preamble, and it tells about those founding fathers set out to do. Come on, sing with me. Here we go. This is it. We the people, in order to form a perfect union, establish justice, domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of everything for ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. In 1787, I'm told our founding fathers all sat down. They wrote a list of principles, no miles around. The USA was just starting out a whole brand new country. So our people spelled it out, they called it Land of Liberty. Here we go, and the preamble goes like this. This is it. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. For the United States of America. There we go. United States of America. Here we go. Yay. Janice Lala, good to see you. Founding fathers. Terrorists. Yeah. Doing yard and going to dump on the weekends. That's a good thing. You know, preamble. You play the preamble backwards and plays these are the same. I love folk music too. But what I'm going to say, what makes it America? What makes America America? Freedom. It's the right of self-governing. That's what makes America America, is the right of self-governing. People are like our own entrepreneurs, like an independent contractor, an independent entrepreneur. We're independent, self-governed entrepreneurs of our lives. In a communist country in the Soviet Union during the Soviet era, if you work somewhere in the Soviet era, you have 3 months. If you quit your job during the Soviet era in the Soviet Union, I've been watching a show called The Yushchenko Show. And this is a guy that was raised in the Soviet Union. And so, the right to be self-governed in all the individual states are self-governed. In the United States of America, the people have the right. Of course, we need to work and support ourselves. Of course, we need to pay our own way. But, as Americans in the United States of America, we're self-governed. We govern our own lives. We have control over our lives and our decisions. And when people work for big corporations, sometimes they become slaves to big corporations working for Walmart or Amazon. They're trapped in a way, and they live for the landlord. They have a landlord, they pay rent. They pay rent, they live in there. The point of living in an RV is to be more free. The point of living in an RV is to have more freedom. You have the freedom to govern your life more. You work at a job and you can quit your job whenever you want to quit your job. That's the freedom in the United States, is to not be, oppressed by a big company that works like a slave, doesn't give you any free time off, doesn't give you any vacation time. You're going to work, but you can spend periods of time without working by quitting for short periods of time. And so really, it's not that we don't want to work. We do work. We just had to find a job. We work for these big corporations that give us benefits. I mean, if our big corporate, jobs give us benefits, that's a good thing. When I worked with Kroger, they had some good benefits because it was a unionized job. you had some degree of benefits at Kroger's because you got a unionized job. Kroger's was part of a labor union, is what Kroger was part of. It was a grocery workers union, you know. It was a food workers, United Food Workers Union or something like that. It was part of. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, constant craving. This song, Constant Craving. Constant Craving by k.d. lang in the 90s, k.d. lang, Constant Craving. Yeah, that Constant Craving is a good song. I like those girl groups of the, like Jewel, I like k.d. lang, I like the Indigo Girls. These are the groups that I really like, is the Indigo Girls and all these kinds of people, the Indigo Girls, all these girl groups in the 90s, I like those groups, those singers. And this song is, k.d. lang was a lesbian. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Constant craving. Yeah. Lockheed Martin. Kroger's terrible now. It's not like it used to be, is it? Yeah, P2E. Did y'all remember that song? I worked in corporation for 35 years and retired from it. My granddad today, Janice Lala. So ours is limited cashiers. Back to up lines. Oh yeah, and low pay. I'm telling you, yeah, it's true. They always find a way to cheat the people. New way of the world to see. I gotta go charge my 9 government phones. I'll let you go, Tasha. Maybe if you're on later, we'll catch up with you. However, the same when the road is not bad. I'm speaking out of line. America's socialism. Yeah, I guess the bad thing, we don't want socialism. What we really, there are good things about socialist health insurance, but that's as far as I would ever go with socialism. You know, yeah, I don't blame you, Laura Lee. They steal enough from the people. Taxes for road work and then redo it again. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess everybody's going down. I guess I'm going to try to find somebody on live. So, yeah, I don't know if anybody remembers that constant craving. But I always like that kind of music. But yeah, I'm glad I found a topic we could talk about, guys. I'm glad I found something on this channel, you and me, and we could all talk about companies and jobs. Things like that is things that people can talk about. Constant craving. Sonny Came Home. Sonny Came Home is a good song. Now, this was during that time period that music was popular. But, Sean Colvin sang that. Girl named Sean Colvin sang that. Okay, this is called F sharp minor. F sharp and F sharp minor. Okay, F sharp minor, D minor. Okay. Just learning these. Here's Sonny Came Home. I'm going to practice it. Sonny came home with her favorite blue. Here we go. Okay. Sonny came home from her favorite room. Sonny sat down in the kitchen. She opened a book and a pack of food. Sonny came home with a mission. She said, "Days go tired and hypnotized. I'm walking on a wire. I close my eyes. I can't imagine going anywhere. Please close my eyes and hypnotized. I'm walking on a wire. I close my eyes. I close my eyes and close my mind into the twilight. Oh, like the sky. The world is burning down. She's never found one, and she is the one. I'm just learning that song. Sonny came home. That girl named Sean Colvin. Yeah, I like that song. Cool, awesome. Yeah, okay. We'll work for food. Goog, Georgia's son, Tanya Tucker. Yeah, Georgia's son is blood red and going down. Yeah, blood red and going down. We'll try that. I have my original song on my channel named F Sharp Manor. Okay, cool. I'll check that out. Go Johnny. Okay, thank you guys. Thanks for coming. Blood red and going down by Tanya Tucker. Yeah, I like the Tanya Tucker songs. Okay, here's G, F, G7, G7. Let's go simpler. Oh, man. We got 4 chords. Wow, man. That Georgia sun was vibrant and going down. That Georgia sun was vibrant and going down. Daddy said, come girl, we're heading on down the road to Augusta. I'm famous for this Queensfield, he called me his name and he custard. He said, girl, don't yours and dogs come along, so you love. But you can still live in mine, cause mama's always looking for another. That Georgia sun was blood red and going down. The Georgia sun was blood red and going down. The dusty teardrops on his face, my daddy cried with big tears, he was crying. Halfway running to keep up, my shoulder legs were tight and shaking. Where did I go wrong? Did she leave? It's felt this way. At never knows exactly what to say. That Georgia sun was blood red and going down. Georgia sun was blood red and going down. That search never born, honky tonk as well. Find your daddy, found them, Lord, the rest is hard to tell. He sent me out to wait, but scared, looked back to the door. My daddy left them both, soaking up the sawdust on the floor. That Georgia sun was blood red and going down. Georgia sun was blood red and going down. Let me go. That's a good song. I like that song too. Yes, I'll share a cover song. Yeah, Janice Lala. Tasha, good to see you again. 20 some odd years ago, Dad. 20 some odd years ago. I like this song. This is a good song. What's your mama's name? Kenya Tucker song. This is an old one. These songs are all really old songs. Basically, it's just good, easy music to learn to play. You know, you're learning to play an instrument. It's not easy. Here we go. What's your mama's name, son? What's your mama's name? 30 some odd years, 30 some odd years ago. What's your mama's name, son? What's your mama's name? 30 some odd years ago, a young man came to Phoenix, asking Mary Rosie to bless him in his word. People never took the time to mind a young man's question, till one day heard him in a little green-eyed girl. What's your mama's name, child? What's your mama's name? Does she ever talk about a place called New Orleans? Here we go. And does she ever mention a man named Gifford Wilson? What's your mama's name, child? What's your mama's name? 20 some odd years ago, a drunkard down in Memphis lost a man for life and they went to the county jail, just because he asked a little green-eyed girl a question, offered her a nickel's worth of candy if she'd tell. What's your mama's name, child? What's your mama's name? Does she ever talk about a place called New Orleans? Has she ever mentioned a man named Gifford Wilson? What's your mama's name, child? What's your mama's name? A year and some odd days ago, a woman died in Memphis. Another wayward soul the county had to pay. Inside the old man ragged coat, I found a letter. It said you my daughter, and a rise of rosy green. What's your mama's name? Tell what's your mama's name? Does she ever talk about a place called New Orleans? Has she ever mentioned when you get the Wilson? What's your mama's name? Tell what's your mama's name? There we go. What do you think of that one? That's an old song, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I just learned it a little at a time. We've been on an hour. We've been on an hour. But anyway, I just thought of this new point of view. This is my new point of view. You know, my new point of view is just, living in an RV is good. Being a nomad is good. But, there's, some people could do nothing but travel around. But for me, that's just a lot of gas just to drive around everywhere, It's a lot of gas to drive everywhere, all over the place, all the time. I would rather just have one place that I can live at, I mean, if I can survive financially, and live in one place, living in one place is fine. There's nothing wrong with having a home base. Excuse me. There's nothing wrong with living in an RV either. It's just whatever's best for you financially. But if you're just going to burn up money, hundreds of dollars, in gas all the time to keep on the road, keep moving. Yeah, I'd like to see new territory sometimes, but I really don't have the travel bug. To me, the prepper thing seems more like a thing for me, the prepper thing. And the hermits that I admire, reclusive people, those kinds of people just find their place and they hunker down in their place. And they can live a very meager life that way, too. Living a meager life, living cheap and not going places and doing things themselves, growing stuff themselves, canning stuff themselves, working at jobs, doing whatever, to get by cheap, homesteading, prepping, things like that, things that people want to be able to do to be self-sufficient. That's the American spirit. That's the American spirit, is being self-sufficient and self-governed. That's why it says in the Constitution, people have the right to be secure in their person. People have the right to travel. People have the right to be secure in their person. Secure in their person against unlawful search and seizure. And if the judge gets a warrant, they get a warrant to search, fine. But America, that's the spirit of America. And we can't forget the spirit of America. The spirit of America is not just freedom to do whatever you want to do, but like Reagan said, President Reagan said, President Reagan said, it's not the government's, it's the, President Reagan said, it's the government's job to run this country. It's not the government's job to run people's lives, carry the right to bear arms, the right to carry a gun, the right to be secure in your person, the right to travel. All these rights center around self-governship. Basically the English government back in the 1700s and 1600s it was a monarchy, but it was very tyrannical. It was a tyranny. It was a bureaucracy. It was a big government, It was a bureaucracy and a big government that controlled people's lives, That's what the government was back in the 1600s. It was a big government that run people's lives. And that's what, as Americans, that we came here for. It wasn't just for freedom of religion. It was the freedom to govern our lives. And when they come up with this Constitution of the United States of America, it's the constitutional right to be able to be self-governed, to not have some bureaucracy to tell us everything about what we do. That's the spirit of the prepper, the spirit of the hermit that wants to go back in the woods and be a hermit and live in the woods. I mean, a person has a right to do that, to leave society if they want to, like Christopher McCandless. People have the right to govern their lives. That's part of a person's right to govern their lives. And if they want to live in an RV and travel, there's a book I ordered by John Steinbeck. John Steinbeck. Travels with Charlie by John Steinbeck. Travels with Charlie. Remember that book, Travels with Charlie by John. Okay, good. Just write that down there, Larly, and tell other people about it too. This guy was a writer, John Steinbeck, and he decides to travel around the United States. And this book was written in 1963. The truck was like a 1960, it was like a 1960 Chevrolet truck with a little truck camper, an old vintage 50s, 1950s slide-in camper. He traveled around the country in a little truck with a truck camper on it. And the book was written in like 1963. So that's when he started traveling. And there's a museum too. And that truck of John Steinbeck's, it's called Rocinante. Just after the Don Quixote. Don Quixote, Don Quixote that fought the windmills. Don Quixote that fought the windmills in the story. Don Quixote fought the windmills. His horse was called Rocinante. Rocinante was John's rig. He named it Rocinante after Don Quixote's horse. I think he might have been a French guy, John Steinbeck. I don't know. But, Rocinante is John's rig. He named it Rocinante after the horse of Don Quixote. That's what Rocinante is. And he, attacking windmills like I read that in high school, that book in high school, Don Quixote. We read something about that. Fact of it is that he decided to travel around his rig, so around the United States. So I got that book, I ordered it, and it hasn't come yet, but it's on its way. It's on its way. It's on its way. The book's on its way. It hasn't come yet. It's on its way. That's why I'm so grateful for the internet. I'm so grateful for the internet because it's brought so many people together. People can read books. There's so many good books that I've learned about. I never would have been able to read these books. I never would have been able to read these books. The way you would have learned about books is spending hours in a huge library. Spending hours in a huge library. I think some people have lost our communication skills. Since the internet, we have lost our communication skills. We had tremendous communication skills back in the 1980s because you had to go out and physically meet people. You couldn't just meet people online and be a keyboard warrior and type behind a keyboard. To meet people and stuff, you have to not just be a keyboard warrior, but you have to go out physically, meet people. If you're a misfit, or if you feel like a misfit or a nerd or an outcast, you have to meet other misfits, other outcasts. You can't pretend to be somebody you're not. You have to go out physically and go to coffee shops, you know, bookstores, coffee shops, coffee houses, places where nerdy people meet each other. You got to go to these places. Yeah, I do too. And you could do that. You have pen pals, write people with pen pals. Magazines, fanzines, and magazines. The world of magazines for young people, man. Young people and magazines. There was even independent magazines, week fanzines and magazines, independent magazines and newsletters and magazines that could send your newsletter to your house, and you had a newsletter. No matter what kind of a group you can be a part of, small communities of people, small, like what you would call if you called a group of people, if you called a group of people, if you're part of a group of people that are fans of what you call it, it's a group, it's a cult lifestyle, a cult of following of something. You have people that are into punk rock and hippies and different kinds of people. But yeah, that's just, now we have the internet and people can meet each other. Yeah, people can meet each other. People can meet each other in so many different ways. So, yeah. So that's just. I think people had better social skills, stronger social skills back then. People back then had stronger social skills because now people are doing so much online and they're learning online and they're meeting each other, and people sit behind keyboards. You know what the people really look like. You don't know who the people really are. But, back then, rejection, you have to face it. Because, but you have to physically meet people to make friends. You have to physically meet people. There are online groups of people that love van life or whatever like that. How are van life people going to meet each other back then? I think they would have to have van life newsletter. The people of Bob Wells and those people, they would have to put out a newsletter. They would have to put out a newsletter or a magazine. They would have to put out a newsletter. And the people would have to be devoted to printing out that newsletter. People would have to donate. People would have to donate to Bob Wells. They'd have to donate so that they could donate. People have to donate so that that newsletter would have to be published. They would have to publish that newsletter. And phone numbers of people and addresses of people could be published in the back of the newsletter. In the back of the magazine, the members of the group, the phone numbers could be published in the back of it. That way people could get a hold of each other and meet each other. That's how people would email each other, by calling each other, because everybody's phone numbers are in the back of the magazine. And so if you want your phone number published so people can meet you and talk to you, and they have rallies, get-togethers and rallies. Just like the RTR, people would go to the RTR, They would go to the RTR. They would have van life rallies, van life meetups. Yeah, Kentucky Living or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think we maybe, yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. Something like that. Larly, you're right. I remember that. I made some egg salad, Larly. Do you like the egg salad? Yeah, there are really nice, interesting stories. Yeah, there's a lot of good stories. But yeah, I guess you have meetups and rallies and meetups and stuff. People have to get togethers and rallies and meetups and stuff. People get together, they meetups, they rallies, they do stuff. They have physical meetups. And hell, if you're into stuff like that, you just have to kind of physically hang out where people are at. You have to physically hang out where people are. Many people like egg salad. I never took to it. Yeah. I put a relish in it, and I put relish in the egg salad, and I put mayonnaise in it. So that's about all them hard boiled eggs, Yeah, I see your little egg there, your little icon, little um emoji or whatever it is. So yeah, egg salad. So yeah, I like it pretty good. My dad just fried an egg one time and put it on a piece of bread. Take a fried egg and put a fried egg on a piece of bread. These are things that are, I think these things are important. It's just the biggest change in our society has come about since the internet. People's ability. I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side. I'm gonna catch you on the flip side, Laura Lee. Yeah, it will very very soon, Laura Lee. It'll come very soon, Laura Lee. It will. Thanksgiving will be soon, and I'll maybe live stream Thanksgiving. Maybe I'll do some live stream Thanksgiving. Good night, Laura Lee. We love you. See you guys later. Thank you for coming and being with me and hanging out. I'll see you guys on the flip side.